Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Hek'ma Harrison, DeMontre Moore, and Newy Scruggs.
One more again, tell a friend. It's the Players Lounge, sponsored by Aristocrat Gaming. Welcome to the Taj Mahal of football. I got my boys with me. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk the draft. We're going to check in. Welcome to the Players Lounge once again, man, home of your Dallas Cowboys. And, man, another day to talk about this draft, to talk about all the different movement around the NFL. But fellas, y'all know how I do. I got my guys at the desk, former Dallas Cowboy players. The truth is definitely in the booth. When I do a show, I always check in on your mentals. That's the number one thing, because, hey, number one is I would never want to leave here and know that I didn't address something that I had an opportunity to address in my time with you. So let me check in with you. Demo, I'm going to start with you. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm making it, man. Another day just in the life and in the dream, man. It's your world.
Yeah, it is. It is that. But that was shallow. Give me something more than that, dog.
Beneath the surface.
That was shallow.
I was just thinking
shallow.
I'm just sticking my pinky toe in there. Man, what he said? Hey, I can't complain, man. Just out here, just trying to live, man.
Just trying to live,
enjoying the draft picks. I'm here with my brothers, and so we locked in, man. I'm ready to talk about some football.
I'm checking.
That caught me off guard.
Look, man, like DeMontre said, I can't complain. The weather's been a little shaky here and there, but it's supposed to be warmer today. Your boys heading over to the Byron Nelson to check out the pros, see how they do it when it comes to the sticks. But
nobody got in.
I got it in.
When he said PGA, I said, "You playing?"
Hey, you know he might be.
Hey,
he might be, man.
The fam doing great. Kids doing great. They excelling in school and sports and all that good stuff. Wife doing her thing. So I feel blessed, man. Can't really complain about much. My boy, you getting your not your man. What is your
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. So congrats to my guy getting his.
Come on, it's stuff going on.
The education.
You already got it, right?
No, I do not. May 9th.
May 9th.
May
9th is the day.
There it is.
Okay.
Brother. Congratulations, man. So I had to make sure I had to shout that out because that's huge, man. That's huge. That's huge.
Welcome to the 12%.
Yes, indeed. Hey, that's a fact.
Really?
That's brothers that have their degrees.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I'm part of that club myself.
You're in good company.
You're in good company.
Let me do that then.
Heck, how you doing? How to make it?
Man, I was
Heck.
about to say, how you doing?
Hey, boy, they let me in the building one more time.
Pull up.
Hey, and he hosted too.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a
And
beautiful
from the
day.
Taj Mahal of football. It's on.
There it
What
is.
you
There
talking
it
about?
is.
Talk
The
about
day
living-
before rookie.
Hey, man.
there it is.
You talk about living a dream.
Boy, I hope these rookies got this type of energy.
Yeah,
the way
exactly.
he coming in.
Oh,
here.
man,
they got it.
must don't know. But fellas, we have to break down. We did all that talk months in advance about the draft. We talked about what the Cowboys needed. We talked about all the holes that needed to be filled. But now the Players Lounge finally gets an opportunity to address how you felt about the draft. BC, you're the man that always said, man, it's so many holes to fill. Where do we even get started with this? But what did you come away with after that last pick for the draft for the Dallas Cowboys? What did you come away with grade-wise in your feeling on how the front office did?
Man, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it or lie to you. Heck, can't do that. But I loved it, man.
Loved it.
I loved what they were able to do in this draft, especially that first-round pick. Because we talked about it pretty much the weeks leading up to the draft, the trenches. I feel like that was the consensus around here. Like, Newy, of course, wanted to go with that wide receiver from Arizona. We'll talk about that when he gets. But the trenches needed addressed. Offensively, defensively, I was like, man, we gotta get some players in there that one could be, they can go out there and maybe be day one starter, especially on the opposite side of the football with that first round pick. I believe he's going to be a day one starter. You're talking about a guy from Alabama who's known about that championship pedigree. who knows how to win games. He has that nasty dog mentality, all right? And I'm talking about the guard that we drafted. I'm Tyler Booker. I'm talking about Tyler Booker here. Nasty dog mentality, and you got to have that in the middle of that offensive line. That's what we needed, all right? Last year, you saw the pressure that was coming after Dak Prescott. It was in the middle of his face. Yeah. It was in the middle of his face, and that's the one place that quarterbacks hate to get pressure from. When you coming from the outside, you can step up in that pocket, you can manipulate the pocket, and you can get the job done. But when you got guys, from all type of angles and in front of you coming towards you, it makes it hard. And I feel like with that pick, that helped solidify a gap that offensive line had. We lost Zach Martin to retirement, Hall of Fame career. You ride off into the sunset. Much, much, much deserved for him. And we needed somebody to fill that void. All right, so we got Tyler Booker. I feel like he's going to be a day one starter in there. The center situation, you got Cooper Beebe in there at the center situation. You got Tyler Smith. That left tackle spot. That's the one that's kind of
bigger question.
That's the bigger question. But hopefully, our guy can make a second-year leap similar to what Terrence Steele did in his second year. Because he was up and down his first year starting out there. Then he made that leap the second year, and then, last year kind of went back down. But if he can make that leap, I think you solidify that offensive line, and we can get that run game going, get the pressure off of Dak Prescott. But overall, I liked what they did in the draft. The second-round pick from Boston College, the defensive end, his name is escaping me.
Donovan Ezra.
Yeah, I didn't want to butcher his name. Didn't want to butcher his name out there.
Donovan E.
But I like what they did. I love what they did with those first two picks. You got an athletic guy coming off the edge. We were looking at some of the numbers before the show, and he has that good change of direction. I'll let DeMontre speak a little bit more on him because he heard through the grapevine what this guy can bring to the table. But my first initial thought process on this draft is I felt like the Cowboys, they filled much needed holes. There's still some holes that need to be filled, but the priority list, I feel like they knocked at least the first 2-3 spots that they needed to out the park.
And before I ask you this question, because it's kind of layered, my question to you, because surprisingly enough, I never got drafted.
Neither did I. Wow. What that be like?
Hey, what is it?
I never got a Mircom bag.
But that's
shout out to Shaq, guys.
Shout out. Man, what is the feeling on draft night for a player that has put in all the work, done all the prep, and then you get the call from one of the 32 teams in the NFL, and then now you know what city you're going to. Like, what is that feeling like, DeMontre?
Man, that feeling, it's like PTSD for me. Y'all over here making it seem, I kind of had the Sanders effect on my draft night. I was expected, projected coming out number 1, number 2 overall pick, first round, and then had a bad combine and slid all the way down to the third round, 81st pick. So when I dropped down, it was kind of like I had everybody there the first night, like, leaving out as a true junior. I'm like, I'm gonna be going to New York. Okay, I ain't gonna go to New York because I might be going in the bottom of the first round. And then, you got your people there celebrating the first day, and it's like you got to go there with pride and be like, well, y'all show up tomorrow. Don't wear these team shirts that say DeMontre. I mean, y'all can, but we might be on TV again. And so going through that whole process, it was kind of like I was mad. I was bitter about it. But when you finally get your name called, it's like, all right, it's time to go to work. Like, it's time to get here. And, I had that chip on my shoulder. And, now looking back, I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I'm appreciative of it because, like you said, there's some guys that have never been drafted and stuff like that. And so a lot of old people tell you, or OGs in the game, or people there, they tell you enjoy the process, enjoy everything that comes with it, because when it's all said and done, it's like, man, just to hear your name get called on draft night is special. You're a 1%er. And then after that, to be in the first 3 rounds, you're pretty much guaranteed your job unless you do something just astronomical that mess up that you're going to be there for that year. So it's a great experience looking back on it. But that day, I tell you, I was mad. Actually, probably about the first 3 years, every time I watched the draft, I was bitter and I had PTSD. But with that being said,
you got over it.
I got over it.
The bounce back was serious.
It was 12 years playing. So, hey, man, I did more than most. But, like you said, it was a great experience. But anyways, let's get to these draft picks.
The Cowboys, how did you feel about the
boy, I came in here excited, like my boy said. I heard through the grapevines. Won't say who told me, but this second round draft pick, Oh man, if he come in and do what he was doing in the Senior Bowl, they said arguably he was one of the best defensive ends, if not the second best one there, that like improved their stock, that has that dog mentality. I'm talking about like the person that I was talking to, they said that they've been around like great defensive linemen, and like his mentality was kind of like a Cliff Averill type of mentality where like he can take control of that room and be a leader, but he doesn't care about people following him. Like he has that leader amongst men mentality. And so to pair him up with Micah coming in, changing direction, learning from under him, I'm really excited about that because the whole offseason we was talking about who can we get on the edge, who can we pair up with him. So like we know Micah's going to do his thing, but if he can at least have somebody take that pressure off of him, and then you paid up Osa in the middle, I'm liking the way the D-line is going. I wanted this guy as the first round pick. We got Tyler Booker. It was only two guards that I wanted in that first round pick, and he was one of them. And it like to see him come out, like you're gonna have that energy from him. Like to see a big guy, he didn't come out mean or nothing like that, just strolling. Like that man was excited when he got his name called. Ran out there, did a high jump and everything like that. Like I want to see that. Like I want to. If you're gonna have that when your name is being called, wait until he gets in his element. He comes from that championship pedigree. Alabama, we're talking about knowing how to win, knowing that it's a certain standard that those guys are pro ready. So for him to come in and knowing the pressure that's going to be him, like I couldn't see nobody else that's ready to step in there. I think he's a day one plug-in guy. And then you got some big guys towards the end of the draft.
Yes.
I won't speak on the East Carolina kid. I'm not sure, but he's in the third round. I'm assuming that you know something that I don't, but
Revel Jr. from East Carolina.
Yeah, coming off the
Yeah, but like I said, these first two picks, going from there, and then in the back end, we got some offensive linemen that I was looking at. Yeah. So I feel like we added a lot of good depth pieces. Yeah. Now I just want to see who's going to be the guy. I'm letting it known right now that I'm saying the second round pick is going to be the star of this draft class. Okay. But we know with every draft pick, there's always a guy that you don't expect that becomes that guy, that fifth or sixth round pick. So I want to see from these guys on this back end who's really going to make their name. And it starts tomorrow with this rookie minicamp that's coming up.
Yeah, they're setting up, and it's going to be rookie minicamp starts tomorrow, as you just stated. Veterans, everybody's in the building, talking to coaches right now as well. But I think it's interesting. For me, I thought, for one, that this was one of those drafts where I felt like Jerry did not listen to fans. He went right down the board with what he needed, understanding like this was one of those solid drafts that you look back, position 1 all the way through 7, and said, y'all address needs right away. Y'all address this team's needs in a way that automatically you make the offensive line based off of that Booker piece. You add some depth there. When beforehand we were talking about it, who are these guys?
Who gonna be in there?
Who are you gonna start the season with? And the same with Ezraku as well. I think you bring in pieces that can help you immediately. We say off the bus. I
forgot the running back too. Don't let me.
Jaden Blue.
I forgot to address him off the bus. He's another guy that's gonna be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like that running back, you got to steal like.
No, you got something. You got something. And this here gives you an opportunity because I felt like there were some position groups that got better, rooms that got better through the draft. And I'm 100%. Interested to know who you guys thought got better. What room got better through the draft? What you got, Trey?
Me? Yeah. I'm biased. I like the D-line, and then once I heard like from a credible source like that to say like, hey, this guy like put your dollar on him. Yeah. I think the D-line got better because now Mike is going to be able to do what he do. Then you're going to have another bookend guy. Then you're going to have Osa that's going to be there in the middle. And we all know defense wins championships. And then with Eberflus coming in, getting those boys to hunt straight ahead downhill in that wide four scheme, I really think that this D-line just solidified themselves to make a running case or at least be be mentioned in the top. If they do what they're supposed to do, you have Michael Parsons being who he is, outstanding, and then you have another guy that comes in there with that alpha male mentality that doesn't care about the media and that's going to lead right away, and then just a working three technique like that. I think they overall got better, but then also that offensive line, man, like what you answer and that single-handedly makes you better. Bringing that dog in, that plug-in player like Bama, SEC ready, like those are the two position groups that got the job done for me.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. I think the trenches as a whole got better here when you talk about the Dallas Cowboys, both offensively and defensively. You look at the offensive line out there, you feeling the need by, basically getting Zach Morton's replacement right there. We saw the growth of this offensive line throughout the season. Yes, they had struggles. They were up and down, but towards the end of the season, they started to, gel as a unit and started to play better. Now you bring in a guy with championship pedigree and Booker in there who I don't consider him a project. You know how, the past couple drafts it was like, oh, this guy's a project. You're going to have to work with him. I don't consider him a project. Yeah. I feel like he's polished out there. So for me, I feel like that offensive line definitely got better. And for sure, the defensive line. I mean, you just said it. You talk about Parsons coming off the edge. You know what he's going to bring to the table. That's a double-digit sack guy, a game disruptor, whatever you want to call it. He's coming off of the edge. And then you also got Dante Fowler. Yeah. We know what he can bring to the table. Like he's a freak of nature.
And people haven't talked about a lot about Dante Fowler coming back to the Cowboys, and also you put this rookie in there with him.
The rotation is going to be unreal. And you play the defensive line, you understand when you get those fresh guys rolling. I mean, the quarterback's back there like, man, I don't know what's going on.
Not to mention Sam Williams,
especially Sam Williams coming back with his injury.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
got Osa, who just got paid. He's going to want to go ahead and prove himself out there. He was a up and down player last year, but I feel like if he can get more consistent, that middle will be a lot better. The only caveat or variable, and I'm hoping if was a fifth, we all understand.
We'd be drunk
if Mozzie can just take that consistently. Like we saw, plays here and there where, he wasn't getting tossed out the club like he was his rookie year. He was being more stout at the tack.
Relax.
All that what it is. He was getting tossed out of the club. That was, that was rookie year. Last year he got more consistent. If he can build upon that, I mean, you're talking about a solid defensive line that can hunt the quarterback and make things easier for that secondary that I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but
I don't want to I don't want to give them too much gas, but they literally can have the potential to be like the Eagles' defensive line. Yeah. You have those guys like that, and you have like a Brandon Graham that's coming off his back end, that's on the bench. We have that in a younger version, Dante Fowler. That's why I said this defensive line is going to be scary. And then on the back end, I don't want to mention those guys because we know you got to make those roster cuts. Yeah. But you added a defensive tackle. You added an offensive tackle at the back end. Like somebody's going to be that dark horse, and this is going to get it's only getting better. And once you start up there in the front, you can leave room for the Jaden Blues to come in there, the Freemans to run. Like,
yeah, I want to, I think when you mention the Eagles defensive line, I mean, look, there's still a Jalen Carter over there that I think is serious disruptor. So we have to be careful about that. I'm just saying, I think that the defensive line, I agree with you. The defensive ends, we got better with bringing in Ezeraku from Boston College, and also with what you already have on the defensive end, in the defensive end. I was surprised, honestly, because we talked about this cornerback room with Trayvon Diggs being hurt, and having to come back from injury. But the Cowboys drafted a player out of East Carolina. It's Shavon Revel Jr. And 6'2", 194 pounds. You got to check the tape on this guy.
Yo.
No, but the thing is, here's one.
We're gonna chalk that one up.
Here's one. I'm talking to you. Because as far as a DB goes, and you've played in this system where you understand if you're playing that zone coverage and you got a lengthy corner back there that can just sit back off of it and then break on it like this guy Revel Jr. and his speed and ability and again. This is a franchise that if you were coming off of an injury, they're gonna do all of their due diligence to make sure. And I believe that the doctors from the Dallas Cowboys did the surgery on this young man. But coming into the draft, that was one of the question marks over this
Huge
team
question mark,
was the secondary. Now, you didn't address it so much as far as, hey, first-round talent, but you got a guy that had literally a first-round grade on him prior to the ACL injury. And I just feel like if he can come back and be himself from that injury, which happened in September, I believe. So it's a long time to rehab from that injury, prepare for the draft and all of that. Man, you really hit one with this pick.
So basically, you're saying he's going to be your dark horse. This is the project of this draft.
This is a guy that if it materializes the way that you projected, he could absolutely be one of those players that can help you immediately. Because this defense needs, even when Diggs was healthy and Bland was out, you needed a ball hawk style, physical style of cornerback. You didn't have that. And I think Diggs couldn't give you that last year because he was hurt. Bland couldn't give you that because he was coming back off of an injury. So
the one I gave it was Jordan Lewis.
Exactly.
And you see how that went.
Shaka.
So we're going to...
Now go ahead.
You're always doing that.
Go ahead.
Hey, tell your man to stop.
Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with this guy. I hear he has the measurables. What does he run in the 40? Like, does he play fast? Like, I want to know, like, do he fill these voids? These are questions I'm asking y'all.
Yeah, he does. I feel like he does fill those voids. And when you talk about the zone that Eberflus likes to run, he is a lengthy corner that can get hands on guys, physical, taller, longer guy that can disrupt these routes. And what Eberflus's defense is all about, especially in the second level linebackers and in the secondary, it's all about having eyes on the quarterback, vision on the quarterback, and breaking. And when you have, if this defensive line can get to the point where
they do what they're supposed to.
Where
it's gonna be.
It's just gonna be eyes on the quarterback, break on the ball, make plays out there. And I feel like this guy also, if he's able to become that player that we think he can be, it gives your secondary flexibility because we're missing that slot guy. Jordan Lewis, great slot guy, but he's gone now. If he's able to step in there and play that outside corner role, people forget Bland was that nickel.
He was that.
Bland was that guy. His rookies, he was that guy in the nickel position making plays. So he has the flexibility to, when they go to nickel, you can bring my guy, Revel Jr., put him on the outside. You can put a guy like Bland on the inside. 'Cause I love Diggs, but I feel like Diggs is more of an outside guy. He's an outside guy. Bland, he can play both, and he's flexible. So having this guy come in here, I think it'll bring more flexibility to your secondary, but I think it's still all predicated on how that defensive line hunts.
Do you think he's taking Bland's job?
No.
That's not. It's not a matter of.
This is just.
We just.
I'm just asking. I mean, it's third round.
You're jumping out the cake.
What you mean? It's third round pick.
That's not what we going.
No.
It's not
In your
what we going.
first, second, and third round pick, they have the capability of coming in and taking somebody's job, and so that's why I'm asking: is this a guy that's coming in and really challenging one of those corners for their spot, or is this just somebody that's a plug-in playing nickel right now?
I think
that
if he
you
plays,
see evolve into that, like being like a Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis came in straight in day one, plugged him into the nickel position. You knew, like, hey, this guy is going to be the starter next year, or shoot, by the end of the year, he should have been the starter. In his rookie year, he earned that right. So that's why I'm asking. And this guy, do you see him having that potential? You saying 6'2" corner, playing rangy like that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the competition. I mean, that's one of the things that you probably haven't had in a long time.
That's all I want to ask. I wanted to ask the professional stat checker and then the guy that played DB.
I don't think he'll take the spot, but it'll give this front office and give the Dallas Cowboys an opportunity to say, hey, if he's playing well enough, do we have to make sure we put all our resources to paying two corners? Like, I think it'll get, I mean, if he comes in and plays well, I'm not saying that you let Bland walk or anything like that, but it gives you a little bit of flexibility towards that.
That's a good sneak diss, by the way, the fact checker thing. What we gonna do? Because listen, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back on the Players Lounge. We got more in store. Professionals.
Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Kyle Yeomans here, sharing that same team that brought you Buffalo, bringing NFL casino games that show America's team on and off the reels. Aristocrat is changing the game with a new experience. Football fans, this means you can pick your team and play your team. Check out the Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Gambling problem? Please contact the U.S. National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 and over.
Dallas Cowboys Game Day is brought to you by Captain Morgan, the official spiced rum of the NFL. The NFL season is full of legendary tales on and off the field. And when you follow the captain within you, stories become stuff of legends. So gather your crew and visit followthecaptain.com to begin your adventure. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1. Any broadcast without the express addition of cooked-to-order Cane's chicken fingers is prohibited. Rule 12. No crinkle-cut fries, Texas toast, or craveable Cane's sauce constitutes an illegal formation. And Rule 31. Anybody who loves to feed their game face is an eligible receiver of Cane's. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Go Cowboys.
Back to the Players Lounge.
It's wild, boy.
Get excited for the most dazzling DCC experience yet. Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders on Tour is coming to a theater near you. Witness live performances, enjoy an on-stage Q&A session, and even be a part of a live audition. If you're in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, Midland, or El Paso, mark your calendar for dates and tickets. Visit DallasCowboysCheerleaders.com/tours. Look who. Well. Well, guess who's been Zach?
Look, and we all together.
Yeah, look at that. Look at it. He had to make it happen. What's going on, Newy?
Brother.
Oh, good.
The boy. We're back in town.
Yeah, we that. We got. Anyway, so we opened the show. We were talking about the draft. The only person to be drafted at this table is my man Montre, and he talked about the slide. Well, you had to been sleeping under a rock if you haven't heard about the biggest slide in NFL history, and that was one Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. So there are a lot of contrasting thoughts on what happened, how it happened, and who made it happen. There are a lot of different theories going on. And so, Newy, since you made your way to the studio, I'm going to start with you, brother. How do you feel about the slide of Shedeur Sanders?
I don't care.
Okay.
At the end of the day, he's on the team. Go play. Go play. You in Cleveland. They go through quarterbacks left and right. Good luck. Good luck. But I don't care.
You didn't. As far as the draft prediction,
should have got an agent.
Should have got an agent.
Should have got an agent.
Okay.
Should have played it better.
Hold on, he went in there agentless?
No, he did not. Technically, he did not.
No.
His Faja was his agent.
Yeah.
And his representation.
He was mistaken.
Yeah, he was in this situation. But here again, philosophies have the pendulum has swung back and forth. So, Montre, what was your thoughts on draft day for Shedeur?
For me, I really don't care either. Like, if anything, like I said, it's like having PTSD. I've been there. Projected first round, sliding to the 3rd round, I felt like the world ended for me. And I walk with that chip on my shoulder, still do to this day. But I don't never want to see somebody fall like that. Now, as far as the way that they handled it, could have been played better. But also with it being said, like, rightfully so. Like you said, there's a lot of different factors that came into it. So he's on the team now. It does not matter. You're there. It doesn't matter. First man in, first man out. If anything, he positioned himself to be in the best situation because he could be like my man across from me. The thing about people who don't realize that, yes, if you don't go in the first round or two, like, you don't make those millions on the front. Well, guess what? In those back end, you're on a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, really. If you're good, they're going to keep you there. And if you're good like that, you get to hit the bank. So what I say to him is this is the best opportunity. Like, he's already made his money in college. Like, he didn't need that on the front end. Going in as a 5th-round pick, we all know if you're not in the first 2 to 3, they're not expecting you to make it. So he's already ahead of the game. If he goes in there and just play football, do what he do best, like, he's going to be in position to go get it on the back end and make it all up. So he's in the building. I say go over there, maximize that opportunity. Joe Flacco is your insurance guy. Everybody else there is unproven, so he can potentially be a starter day one if he goes in and if he's the player that everybody is claiming him to be, the guy that he's talked himself up to be, he can be the day one starter. And guess what? It ain't been done since that last guy over here. Look at Dak Prescott. He's the last guy to be a day one starter opening day and be 4th round to later on pick, but you're doing it in the 5th round pick. Go show people, go prove people wrong. Like, this is that time right now. So as far as being there in that thing, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all done. Like, the only people it matter to is guys like us or people sitting around at the picnic table talking about, collusion, this, that, and the third. Like, nah, let's get to these facts of why you got there, how you got there, if we're really going to break it down. But it doesn't matter there, because guess what? Now you're here. When training camp starts or rookie mini camp starts tomorrow, that's when I came in there and I was like, yo, who is, hey, I'm about to earn this job. When you came in there, you were like, hey, man, it's a chip on my shoulder. I'm undrafted. And the one thing I can say about him that I will speak on, watching him being a competitor and like loving when people challenge him, I feel like this is going to put that big chip on his shoulder, and I hope he goes out there and balls out like that.
DC?
Yeah, I mean, the slide was real,
Rightfully so.
Projected first, slid all the way to the 5th.
Only one person had him projected first.
Yeah, that was that Mel guy.
That was Mel.
But when you look at it, if those couple teams didn't draft him, I'm talking about the Steelers, the Saints, the Browns, then you knew what was going to go down. Yeah. I mean, everybody, last year's draft class was an amazing crop of quarterbacks. So a lot of teams got their guys, and then the other teams, they already had their vets. So if those teams didn't draft him, you knew the slide was inevitable. But like DeMontre said, he's got the best opportunity as far as the quarterback room he's going against. I mean, you got, Deshaun Watson coming off of Achilles and all that other stuff. You got Joe Flacco, he's a good quarterback, but he might be 75 years old. I don't know how old Joe Flacco is. You got Dylan Gabriel, 3rd round guy in there, and then you got, our guy, Shedeur Sanders. So he has an opportunity to go out there and get the starting job. I'm not gonna say he's a day one guy, because when you look at it 5th round, you got to focus on making a squad. You got to focus on doing each and every day, making sure the coaches notice you. And I believe he has the talent to be able to do that. Can he go in there, put his head down, be humble, get in that playbook, and make the most of the opportunity? That's yet to be seen. Yep. But if he's able to do that, keep humble, keep his head down, get in that playbook, and make sure he, like I just said, he makes sure the coaches notice him each and every day, he'll have an opportunity to at least, make this roster. Could be a backup day one, and as the season progresses, he may slide into that starting role. But he's in the best opportunity as far as team-wise to make the team with that quarterback room. So the slide, it hurt him as far as financially. He didn't get those guaranteed millions that the first round people get. But like you said, he had it in college. He doesn't really need that big-time bread. So
y'all checking his bag.
5th round.
I ain't checking.
So I'm going to say this. I disagree with all three of you. Yeah. And the deal is that if you go into the draft, if you go pre-draft, okay, and you check the numbers, look, say it like this. The NFL goes back to 100 years, and you have nothing but data to support why Shedeur should have gone at least first 2 rounds in the draft, okay? And I just go back over the last 10 years, round 1 through 5 of quarterbacks. And my theme is never to big up another brother to tear another brother down, but I have to throw Malik Willis into this, who went in the 3rd round to the Tennessee Titans, okay? Shedeur and Malik, if you just put them on the same page together, are not the same quarterback. Shedeur, almost 15,000 yards in college and also 150 yards. That has got to mean something. And when you talk about the busts that have come through the NFL that have also been drafted in those first 3 rounds, Shedeur wasn't that. When you put him in the 5th round, you know the trick bag that you put him in from a 5th round perspective. You just said it. You got to what? You got to make the team. This is a player. This is a player prior to the draft that was what? Top 3, top 4 picks to slide all the way to 5. Now, I'm not going to claim collusion, but when in everdom has being a coach's kid ever counted against you? When? When is it counted to the point that you say, oh, this guy is a top 5, and we know that quarterbacks have slid, but from 1 to 5?
Yes.
Word?
I'm gonna say
1 to 5?
And you want this one or you?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. This coming from a man that has dropped, rightfully so. I dropped because, hey, the things that I was saying in the interviews might have contradicted what my coaches were saying. I had a bad performance at a combine. We're talking about somebody that dropped. First of all, nobody had him projected number 1 but Mel, the media. Wow. Like, who with some credibility came out there and said, oh, man, this guy is for sure locked in. Did they say he was talented? Yes, he was talented. Second, third round? I think so. But as far as doing the job, going to interview, you did not do that. You did not go interview for the job that you wanted. You wasn't a Heisman winner. You did not earn that right to sit out.
Were you
are
in
not
the
your
Heisman
dad.
room?
You
were you in the room?
You were in the room
So
because
that's
of
what I'm
something.
saying. Were you the
hold on.
Big 12
You were
player
in the
come
room
on now,
just
don't
like
do
you
that.
were in the
Don't
room
do that.
because of my brother. Travis Hunter, you were in the room
Oh, my
because
God.
of him.
So what about the other wide receivers that was in there?
Oh, you earned the right to be in there?
No,
you
I'm saying,
earned the right.
what
Hold
about
on.
the rest of the wide receivers that were on this team that went 5th, 6th round? So you mean to tell me this young man put these numbers up with 5th and 6th round talent? Are you going to tell me also that Travis Hunter was the end-all, the be-all when it came down to their offense at Colorado? Come on.
Yeah, he was a big portion of it. He was a big portion of it. The kid is talented, but he wasn't first-round talented, man. What are you talking about?
I just told you.
Hold on. Okay, exactly. So what has he won? What was his record?
So what is that?
What was it? What does that mean?
What was Jackson Dart's record?
What do you mean?
He played. What was the
how
guy?
long? How long?
Since you're going to compare that,
you're right.
Go back to the rest of the guys that you're comparing him to. His contemporaries.
So
what did they win?
So Jackson Dart, how long did he play against SEC talent?
Bro, don't
what?
do that.
Don't give me that.
Don't do
what
that
do you
because
mean?
we call it the Hall of SEC. If we're gonna go there, don't do that.
What are you talking about? He played against. He's. So you're telling, hold on. So you're going to tell me that the talent level in HBCU is the same level equivalent to SEC talent?
Hey man, Steve McNair would like a word.
Steve McNair, exactly.
Yeah,
one in a few.
No,
and we can all cherry pick somebody.
Everson Walls who walked these halls would like a word.
That's a different.
Nate Newton would like a word.
That's a
if
different.
If we don't go HBCU and then try and do a comparison to the SEC and NFL football.
No, you're talking about old school HBCU versus now. You're talking. Hold on. Those guys that played in the HBCU in those days. That's the reason why the FBC came what they are, because they took those players. Those same players are not at HBCU. There are some good players over there. I'm not going to discredit them.
Jackson
but you're not going to sit here and say,
12,
and you're not
Big 12 Player of the Year. From come on, what are we going?
Big 12, bro, stop it.
What do you mean?
Stop it.
What do you mean? Stop it?
What did he do there? What did he do?
Wow.
13 and 12?
13 and 12? 15,000.
13 and 12? Like, hold on. But I'm saying, no, but we're not going to, and this is our problem as folks. We don't sit here and say, hey, hold us accountable that you should have went in there and interviewed. You went in there and did something that even the Mannings didn't do. The Mannings didn't say, hey,
they just said
we're going to skip out of here and do that.
They just didn't do the interview.
They did every interview. They performed at the combine. They didn't go to the combine? Okay. Did they go to the combine? Did they have a superior pro day? You telling me that what you seen from his pro day, a private pro day, when you held that was, oh my gosh, that was lights out. It was everything, and it was star-studded. So did people leave talking about that? You did not hear one insider saying leaving here.
Let's go to your guy. Trey
and that's one in a few. That's one in a few.
Oh, so I'm picking out one in a few. So the one in the few that I'm picking out that doesn't merit conversation.
Okay,
it doesn't merit the guy from BYU that also that went to the Jets. Yeah, we're not gonna go
BYU.
Ahead, my man. Go ahead, my man.
No, okay, so he didn't have a bad interview. I'm just saying this. Look, we're not gonna hold him accountable for none of that.
Hey, Newy, do you know that there are some bad news stations out here? I'm sure you've worked for a multitude of bad news stations. And if just so happen one of your children want to be a reporter as well, would you tell them to steer away from the bad news stations because of your experience?
Well, I was talking from a player's perspective.
His dad is a player.
His dad is a player, but he's not that player. But he's not that player, and that's why I am upset or disappointed about the whole situation that you have to take off the rose-colored glasses and say, son, you are not me. You did not run a 4.3. Even his dad performed at the combine. You're telling me his dad, the GOAT of the combine, he did something out there, and when he did something, and that's when he said, hey, I'm running out of here and I'm not doing nothing else. He went out there, he had the credibility, he won the awards, he had the accolade to say, hey, my cleats are off. You did not have all of that.
DeMontre,
you have to solidify yourself.
DeMontre, are you telling me that you had Shadur Sanders as a 5th-round pick?
I did not have him as a 5th-round pick. I did not say that he did
I'm
not.
just asking.
No, I'm not saying that. But I promise you I did not have him in the 1st-round pick. Okay. I had him I said if he went out there and played and did what he was supposed to do, I had him in 2nd or 3rd-round bet. But your dad's name helped you.
You know what?
That'll play you into that 1st round.
You're right. Hey,
I'm not.
We're going to take a break.
No. We're going to get new when we come back.
Because I'm hosting.
We're going to get new.
Because I'm hosting today. I'm hosting today. We're going to take a break right here, and we'll be right back.
You're not going to bully me.
Got to get some water.
You're not going to bully me.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Hot mix waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're maxing out overhead presses, pushing through chest flies, or being the hero your golden retriever needs to carry them over that scary bridge, Smoothie King has the fuel to help you go all out. Build muscle and boost your recovery with 45 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, and delicious customizable ingredients in the Gladiator Smoothie. Available in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. Only at Smoothie King.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Talking about SEC.
I don't give a
Hey,
I wouldn't
we're back on right now, guys.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
This summer, step onto the field with Dallas Cowboys Youth Football and Dance Camp presented by Invisalign. Athletes of all skill level, ages 6 to 16 are invited to learn from former NFL players and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Campers have the chance to learn technical skills and lessons of teamwork. Register before May 19th to save $25. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps to learn more. This is the Players Lounge. This is how we get down. Pinkies up. This is how it goes. Brother Newy.
We got a minute left in the show.
Yeah, we got a minute left in the show. I'm sorry. I love it.
I want
Brother Newy.
OG to get him right.
Yeah.
Get him right.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we know about, so you bring up the statistics and the things that Shadur Sanders did. And after the season, yes, you can stand on that business. But we do know this. And I've saw this happen with Achilles Smith because Joby Brandon, who was once your agent, I watched Joby when he was working with Lee Steinberg take Achilles from being basically a guy before the season was a quarterback, he's okay, to being co-Pac-10 Player of the Year, and they had him in the conversation with Tim Couch to be the number 1 pick. He didn't go number 1. Couch went 1, Donovan McNabb went number 2, and Achilles Smith went number 3. as agents, they played the process. They knew what to do. As agents, they got a score. They did all that work that you needed to do behind the scenes and who to talk to and how to get Achille up there. They knew how to do that. That's a process where you can look at this right now and say, the Sanders family misplayed that. It's clear they misplayed it along the way, and now we're starting to hear more things about who you talked to, didn't want to talk to, didn't go do this, didn't go do that. You didn't go do all the interviews that he was talking about to say, hey, look, come look at me. And we know that every year there's going to be some dudes that when they come out, we think they're this, and all of a sudden they go to a camp or they start rising. Mm-hmm. And when people rise, that means people fall. Trey just said, hey, man, I was the guy who was here, and then I fell. And that happened in this process. We don't know all of it yet, but there's no doubt stuff happened in the process. I mean, you saw Shiloh went out there, got agent after a while. Thanks, Dad.
I gotta get Don't play with me.
I gotta get something. So while there was a slide, you do have to say this. They played a part in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I want to make sure we say all day long, okay? I remember, and it's a different situation. Mm-hmm. I love some Michael Jackson back in the day, but he kept having on the court case. Like, hey, bro, when are you involved in this? Yeah. Sometimes we got to ask ourselves, hey, how are you involved and what did you do? You talk about news stations and going and doing interviews. Man, when I came to Channel 5, I did something that I never did before in my career. I told them what I wouldn't do. I don't do this, this, and this. I still got the job, but at the same time, I was working in L.A. So you can tell people what you will or will not do. But some people may say, oh, okay, thank you. I don't need that. His talent should not have dictated some of the things that they did. Should have done a lot more to show people who, hey, this is this. And Bill Parcells, when he has a great line, says, perception is reality.
Yeah. And
some of the folks took the perceptions a different way. Dennis Thurman, who played here, an outstanding defensive back when he was here. Thurman's team. Dennis was the defensive coordinator at Jackson. And he was on staff at Colorado. Deion didn't make him his defensive coordinator at Colorado, but he was on the staff. He told me, he said, Shedeur was a great kid. He said, man, Newy, he would come and he would talk to us as defensive coach. We didn't have any issues, and nobody there did not dislike him. No. Somewhere along the way, during this process, that perception changed.
Didn't translate. Didn't come through.
It changed.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what happened there. And I asked, I said, DT, what's happening? He says, Newy, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he knew that guy. And apparently, that's what I said about having an agent going through this process. Somewhere along the way, man, you didn't do the things you needed to do to dispel some of the perceptions. And Trace talked about it before. That what was it? You said the Saints, the other team. When they finally got him to bill, like, hey man, what we heard, what we were told, you're not that guy. That's a part of the process and also part of the agent's process. Hey, man, how do we make sure we got the best you that's coming out?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Because that clearly has not been displayed for the people who have been around Shedeur Sanders and tell you that they like him. That somehow got mixed up here. Thus the drop. But I'll say this. I'm going to say it again. Dude probably went to the best place you can go. Because if there's one folk to go through quarterback carousel over and it was Cleveland. Yes. There's only the two best places he could have went, Cleveland, and the other one, the guy who dropped big time, Quinn Ewers, with Miami.
Mm-hmm. Is the other one.
Hey, I mean, right now, if you got a quarterback spot to get to, I mean, between those two, I mean, we don't know when Tua going to time. We don't know when it is.
What time is it?
You know what? Let me say this.
You don't know.
This was a great podcast.
Yeah.
This was the one. Players Lounge, stay down. Want to thank all of you for tuning in. Chris Beam in the back, always instigating, my man.
Sniper.
Hey, number love, Montre. Number love, baby.
Hey, I told you, bro. I want my boy to do good. I feel bad. My sentiments, like, those are the last two things I'm going to say. Exactly what Newy said. He is a great kid, and I'm just mad that all this BS is done. So I'm ready
professional stat checker. I will. Hey, we're going to take that. We're going to take that. We're going to ride out on that. All right, we'll see y'all next Thursday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?